Hello there, my name is Richard McMunn from the interview training website passmyinterview.com, and in this tutorial I will teach you how to pass a Band 7 NHS nurse interview. So if you are applying to become a Band 7 nurse with any hospital or NHS trust, make sure you stay tuned because I promise to help you be the standout candidate. Now, to achieve that goal, this is what I will cover during this tutorial. Number one, I will give you a list of Band 7 NHS nurse interview questions that I strongly recommend you prepare for. Number two, I am then going to give you two very important tips for answering each of those Band 7 nurse interview questions correctly. I will then give you a top scoring example answer to all of the Band 7 nurse interview questions to help you prepare effectively. And finally, I will tell you where you can instantly download my full set of 23 Band 7 nurse NHS interview questions and top scoring example answers in a PDF guide. And just very quickly, if you are new to this channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Literally thousands of you, and I mean thousands of you, are passing your job interviews. I can only help you if you are subscribed. And please give the video a like because that motivates me to create more content for you. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, let's get straight into the tutorial. So the first question I strongly recommend you prepare for is tell me about yourself. So this is going to be the first Band 7 NHS nurse interview question you must respond to. Now, my advice is to make sure you practice your answer several times before your interview, because if you can give a confident answer, it creates a great first impression. But more importantly, it sets you up with confidence for the rest of your interview. And tip number two, in your answer, talk about the skills, qualities and experience you have and how these match the job description. Now, I will talk about the importance of the job description several times during this tutorial. It's really important you read it before you attend your Band 7 nurse interview. So here's my example answer to that question to help you. Tell me about yourself. Here we go. Thank you for the opportunity to be interviewed for this Band 7 nurse position with your NHS Trust today. I would describe myself as a resilient, forward-thinking, knowledgeable and competent nurse who has the skills, qualities and experience to match the job description. I have the confidence to lead teams of nurses and healthcare professionals, and my experience has been built from many years working in various departments and hospitals, collaborating with and learning from talented NHS staff, and a genuine desire to continually develop professionally. I have strong communication skills, and I am a confident and decisive decision maker who can be relied upon to deliver first-class treatment and care to all patients. Finally, my knowledge of NHS policies and health, safety and security procedures will enable me to hit the ground running and be an excellent Band 7 nurse and leader for your trust. So that's a brilliant, confident answer that creates a really good first impression during your NHS Band 7 nurse interview. Now, you can either pause the video if you want to and take note of the questions and answers as we work through them together, or if you want to wait, I will soon tell you where you can instantly download my full set of 23 NHS Band 7 nurse interview questions and top scoring answers, including the ones we are covering today during this tutorial. Here's the next question for you. Why do you want to be a Band 7 nurse? Tip number one. Now, the NHS does not want to take nurses on in senior Band 7 positions if they are solely motivated by pay. Therefore, you must give genuine reasons why you want this role and also the level of responsibility that comes with being a Band 7 nurse. Now, tip number two is good reasons to give why you want to be a Band 7 nurse include being able to have a positive impact on the nurses in your team, being able to contribute to the future success of the NHS, and also making sure your team delivers first-class treatment and care. So here is my example answer to help you. Why do you want to be a Band 7 nurse? I want to be a Band 7 nurse because of the level of responsibility that comes with the position. I want to be a Band 7 nurse because I can have a direct impact on patients' lives by insisting my team always delivers first-class treatment and care, something that I'm very passionate about. I also want to be a Band 7 nurse because I can have a direct impact on the development and careers of the nursing staff under my control. I have the leadership and motivational skills to help other nurses reach their full potential, and in this role, I will encourage my staff to take advantage of every learning and development opportunity that comes their way. So this means I will be contributing to the future success of the NHS by helping the nurses I am managing be the best versions of themselves possible. So that's a really good answer to that common NHS Band 7 nurse interview question. Why do you want to be a Band 7 nurse? Now don't go anywhere because I still have more questions and answers to give you. But when you're ready, you can click that link in the top right hand corner of the video, head straight through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can instantly download my full set of 23 NHS Band 7 nurse interview questions and top scoring example answers, including the ones we are working through together today. Here's the next question. What are the most important skills and qualities needed to be an NHS Band 7 nurse? Tip number 1. So this is a difficult but common Band 7 nurse interview question that is clearly assessing your understanding of that job description. Make sure you read the job description before you attend the interview because it will help you to answer the questions correctly. Tip number 2. In your answer, don't forget to mention the important but often overlooked skills of planning and conducting staff performance reviews and also understanding all NHS working practices and policies. Here's my example answer to help you. What are the most important skills and qualities needed to be an NHS Band 7 nurse? As a Band 7 nurse, your role goes far beyond patient treatment and care. It involves leading a multidisciplinary team of healthcare professionals, which means you must act as a positive role model, uphold the NHS values and principles, and be an engaging leader. You need the skill of developing yourself and others, have strong communication and interpersonal skills, possess the ability to build positive working relationships with your team of nurses and other departments, and promote an inclusive working environment where there is opportunity for everyone. Other essential skills and qualities needed to be a competent NHS Band 7 nurse include teamwork and collaboration skills, and a focus on delivering world-class patient treatment and care. You need to plan and conduct staff performance reviews, including the provision of ongoing training, collaborate with patients, carers and their families, and ensure respect, equality and diversity are at the forefront of everything you do. Finally, you must focus on health, safety and security, possess a thorough understanding of NHS working practices and systems, have knowledge of infection control and clinical governance, adhere to confidentiality procedures, and always maintain a safe and clean working environment. So that's a brilliant response. It shows that you thoroughly understand all of the different skills and qualities needed to be a competent NHS Band 7 nurse. Here's the next question. Tell me about a time you led by example in a healthcare setting. This is a difficult one. Tip number 1. This is another common but difficult NHS Band 7 nurse interview question to answer. Now, Band 7 nurses are leaders and they must act as positive role models for the organisation. So this question is assessing your leadership capabilities. Tip number 2. In your answer, make sure you give a specific situation you've been in where you demonstrated the NHS values in your work and encouraged other people to do the same. Here's my example response. Tell me about a time you led by example in a healthcare setting. In my previous nursing position, I noticed a locum nurse who was caring for a patient being abrupt in her communication. Now, I took her to one side and explained that her style of communication was not in keeping with the NHS values expected of this trust. I then asked her to come and see me towards the end of her shift when I would give her a copy of the trust's values and the 6 C's of care, which detailed the importance of effective communication. Now, when she came to see me, I took the time to walk through the document and gave her practical tips for communicating with patients in a manner that was conducive to first-class care. I then monitored her in the coming days and I noticed a marked improvement in her tone and style of communication. That's a great example answer. It shows that you can lead by example. A really good response. Here's the next question. Why do you want to work for the NHS? Tip number 1. So this is another extremely common NHS Band 7 nurse interview question that I recommend you prepare for. Make sure you give genuine reasons why you want to work for the NHS, including work-related and personal. Tip number 2. Now, good reasons to want to work for the NHS include the fact that all staff have a genuine desire to make a positive difference to people's lives, the fact that your suggestions to help improve the NHS will be listened to, and there is also a fair and transparent pay structure. Here's my example answer to help you. Why do you want to work for the NHS? I want to work for the NHS because it is an organisation that prides itself on excellent patient treatment and care. All NHS staff are genuinely passionate about what they do. There is a clear desire to continually improve. Employees' suggestions for improvement are listened to, and there is the opportunity for progression in the organisation. I also want to work for the NHS because I will feel proud to put on my nursing uniform each day. There is a fair and transparent pay structure, and I am also attracted to the flexible working opportunities which will enable me to manage the needs of my family whilst doing a job that I love. That's a great model answer to help you pass your interview. Here's the next question. How would you identify the learning and development needs of nursing staff in your team as a Band 7 nurse? Wow, this is a tricky one. Tip number 1. So this is a difficult NHS Band 7 nurse interview question to answer correctly. So it is assessing your understanding of the performance review and appraisal process. Tip number 2, in your answer, talk about how you would sit down periodically with the nurses in your team, get to know their strengths, areas for improvement, and establish their training needs. I also recommend saying that every performance review you conduct as a Band 7 nurse will finish on a positive note. That's really important when conducting performance reviews and appraisals. Here's my example response to help you. How would you identify the learning and development needs of nursing staff in your team as a Band 7 nurse? I would identify staff learning and development needs by conducting performance reviews and appraisals with all nurses and healthcare professionals in my team. I would sit down with each nurse periodically, listen to their views, and agree the objectives for the forthcoming 12 months. I would recognise and praise outstanding performance, arrange and facilitate training sessions to help maintain competence, identify and remedy areas for improvement, and agree an action plan with each nurse that had strict timeframes. I would always ensure honesty and transparency were integral to every staff appraisal and performance review, and each one would end positively. That's another really good answer. Here's the next question. What are your strengths? Now, this is another common NHS Band 7 nurse interview question where I recommend aligning your answer with the strengths listed on the job description. So look at the essential skills and qualities needed to be a Band 7 nurse for your chosen hospital or NHS trust and decide which strengths you have that match the job description. Tip number 2, you can also gain higher marks in your answer by giving examples of where you have demonstrated your strengths in a previous nursing position. So here's my example response. What are your strengths? My strengths include the fact that I am naturally a caring person and I possess an adaptable communication style that can quickly change depending on my patient's age, situation and needs. Other strengths include my commitment to patient advocacy. I take the time to explain things to patients, answer questions they have and provide the necessary reassurance. I am a confident and strong leader who will always act as a positive role model for the NHS, and I am not afraid to make difficult decisions in the best interests of the organisation. Finally, I am very positive about change and will support the NHS in its change agenda. For example, in my last nursing position, I often put forward ideas and suggestions to help improve patient treatment and care. So that's a good answer because you are giving more than one strength. And I also like the fact that you are talking about how you are very positive about change, something that's important when working in the NHS. Here's the next question. How will you cope with the emotional demands that come with being an NHS Band 7 nurse? Tip number 1. So this next question is assessing your ability to mentally deal with the demands of a senior nursing position in the NHS. So if you can deal with the stress of the role and you have a strategy in place for it, you are more likely to succeed. Tip number 2. Answer this question by first explaining what the emotional demands are of the Band 7 nurse role, and then explain what you will do to cope. Here we go. How will you cope with the emotional demands that come with being an NHS Band 7 nurse? The emotional demands of this role will include communicating with upset and distressed patients and relatives, caring for the terminally ill, and communicating complex problems and issues with my team. I will cope with the emotional demands of the role by being aware of the potential stresses and then focusing my mind on 3 things: the reality of the situation I am faced with, my training, and the outcome I want to achieve. Now, to deal with emotionally stressful situations, I will remain calm, choose a style and tone of communication that is relevant, be clear, factual and transparent, and remember to follow my training and the applicable NHS policies and procedures. Finally, to cope with the emotional demands of the Band 7 nurse position, I will keep myself physically fit, practice mindfulness, and eat the right diet that will help maintain a positive mindset and excellent concentration skills. That's a really good answer. That will help you pass your Band 7 nurse NHS interview. Here's the next question. So why should we hire you as a Band 7 nurse for the NHS? Tip number 1. So this next NHS Band 7 nurse interview question is your opportunity to sell yourself. Don't be afraid to sell yourself. Think of positive reasons why they should hire you that will resonate with the NHS recruiting manager. So before you go to your interview, write down a list of the reasons why they should take you on in the role. Tip number 2. So give more than one reason why they should hire you. And don't forget to mention in your answer that you are the type of nurse who will help drive through NHS organisational change. Here's my example response. Why should we hire you as a Band 7 nurse for the NHS? You should hire me because I have the leadership skills to handle the responsibility that comes with the essential criteria listed on the job description. I have experience in a variety of different nursing and healthcare situations, and I will ensure all nursing staff I am responsible for demonstrate the NHS values in their daily work. You should also hire me as a Band 7 nurse because I will help drive through change as instructed by the senior NHS management team, ensure all staff receive the right training and support to reach their full potential, and all duties and responsibilities in my team are carried out to the exceptional standards expected. That's a really good example response to that question. Why should we employ you as a Band 7 nurse? Now, the next thing to do is make sure you click that link right now in the top right hand corner of the video. Head straight through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can instantly download my full set of 23 NHS Band 7 nurse interview questions and top scoring example answers in a PDF guide. And that guide includes all of the answers that we have worked through together today. It's a brilliant resource. Make sure at the very least you go through to that website because I've included more questions I recommend you prepare for. I have also given you more great tips for preparing for an NHS Band 7 nurse, a senior nurse job interview. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's really important because literally, as I said at the start, thousands of you are passing your job interviews. If you are subscribed, I can help you prepare for every job interview, negotiate a salary, get a pay rise, and also progress throughout your career. Please give the video a like. It's a small ask, but it really does motivate me to create more content for you. And you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I've put my LinkedIn link in the description below the video. It is always an honour and a pleasure to connect with like-minded professionals such as yourself. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting my channel. I wish you all the best for passing your NHS Band 7 nurse interview. Have a great day.